to start with the honey maple chicken. First, I'm going to start with our sauce. I'm going to take a yellow onion. I'm going to dice it up. And we're going to cook this chicken today in a halogen cooker. If you don't have a halogen cooker, that's fine. A regular oven will do. We'll cook the chicken at 375 in the halogen, and we can do 375 in the regular oven as well. Take the onion, slice it into little horizontal. I'm going to go back around, flip the onion. Take my onion and just slice it into cubes. I'm going to take about half those onions and put it in a bowl I have off to the side here. And the other half of onions I'm going to put over here for a little bit later in the show for our jalapeno pineapple salsa. And we're going to smash a few garlic cloves. You can use as little as 3, but I really like the garlic flavor, so I'm going to go with a few. And I'm just mixing this garlic up here. If I have a bench scraper, it's easy for me to help and transfer moving one ingredient to a different spot. So now we have our onion and our garlic in here. So then I'm going to take cilantro. I'm going to take our honey and maple syrup mixture and salt, pinch of black pepper, get some soy sauce in there. Give it a little swirl. We're going to add some of our lime zest. So I have a little zester here. If you don't have one of these cool zesters here, you can use cheese grater. If you have a microplane, you can use that. Cheese grater works just as good. Just a little bit finer of a grade. I'm going to go with my zester here. So it's one lime we're going to zest in there, so you get all the nice oils of the lime right in our marinade. Brings out the nice flavor. We're also going to be putting in lime juice, and I have some fresh squeezed lime juice we're going to add. So I have a little juicer here. If you don't have a juicer, you could squeeze it right into a measuring cup to measure. And I'm just going to juice. The pulp is fine if you don't have a juicer that catches the pulp. The pulp is fine in the marinade, or you can just strain it through a little colander. So now we're going to pop in our lime juice right in here. And we're also going to add in a little bit of olive oil, extra virgin. And we're going to give this a stir. And that's all for our marinade. I'm going to grab our chicken breast. And we're going to pop that in. So I'm using split breast bone in. I'm going to pop those right in. I'm just going to mix and make sure that marinade is evenly distributed throughout the chicken. Alright, we're now going to put our marinade in the fridge overnight. So here we've had chicken overnight marinating, and we're going to take it and place it right in our halogen cooker. So our halogen cooker, I have it on the lowest rack. If you put this in the oven, you could just put it at 375 on a, I like to put them on a wire rack when I cook, and you grease it lightly. And that's just so the juices drip through and they don't make the bottom soggy. So we're going to put this right in here. And I'm putting him breast down, bone up. And then I'll rotate them halfway through. I'm trying to do one even layer of the chicken breast. So now I'm going to put my halogen cooker on. Put the top right on there. I have it on 375. Okay, we're going to start it for 20 minutes. And then we're going to, when that timer goes off, we'll flip it and do it for another 20 and then check. The internal temperature of chicken should be about 165. So now we have our marinade that has had raw chicken inside. It's a shame to throw this away because this has lots of flavor, but right now you can't have it because it has the raw chicken in there. So we're going to actually boil it down on our stove here. So we're going to take a small, or it's a medium-sized pan here, and we're going to scrape all the marinade out. And we're going to boil this down and reduce it down to a nice thick marinade. So now while we're waiting for our marinade to come to a boil, we're going to work on our part of our side dish, which is going to be a coconut cilantro lime rice. I'm going to add the water, our coconut milk, butter, put this on high heat and wait for that to come to a boil as well. We're using jasmine rice today, so I'm going to take this and rinse it to get all the starch off. Okay, so you can see now that our marinade is coming to a nice boil. We're going to let this reduce down now to like a medium to low heat, and we're just going to let it boil down till all the chicken is cooked off and the maple syrup and the honey reduces down to a nice glaze that we're going to put on the chicken at the end. So it is going to rise, so you do want to make sure you have a little bit larger pan to allow for that boiling to rise up and not overflow in your pan. So we're going to leave that. So now I'm going to add the rice to the boiling water and coconut milk. I'm going to give it a gentle stir. Reduce my heat to a simmer. Add a pinch of salt. Cover this and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. So we have now our chicken in the halogen cooker, our marinade boiling down, reducing down, and our coconut cilantro lime rice cooking. We're going to add start prepping for the second part of our rice, which is the cilantro. So I have fresh cilantro here. I'm going to take a bunch off the top. And we are going to mince this up to add to our rice at the end. I'm just going to bunch up the cilantro. It'll make it easier to get those initial cuts. So now we're going to make a pineapple jalapeno salsa to go with our chicken. So I'm going to cut off the end of the tomato. Take our tomato and I'm going to slice it into about a 1/4-inch slice here. Just gonna dice up our tomatoes. It's not anything in particular. We're gonna then now slice it the other way and then make cubes. And when you're cutting with tomatoes, you definitely just want to always make sure you have a really sharp knife, so you're not smashing into the tomato, you're actually slicing through it and you're not mangling the tomato up. Okay. And that other half of the onion that we set aside from with our marinade, now we're going to use that. So we're going to now mince up our garlic. Or I shouldn't say mince, I think we're going to do more of a rougher chop to our garlic. So I do want to still see the garlic in the salsa. Now we're going to take our jalapeno, a good size jalapeno. Definitely going to want to make sure the seeds are out. Make sure you don't. You can take your jalapeno and slice them. And then we're going to dice them. Dice them into rather smaller pieces. Then again, it's total preference. If you are into spicy, you can always add other spicy peppers to this, but today we're just going to stick with a jalapeno. So right now I want to add, I enjoy a red onion with the sauce as well. I'm not going to use this whole onion. I'm going to use about half of this onion. I'm going to slice it horizontal. I'm going to slice it vertical so we get some nice dice cuts out of this. Red onion also adds, I think, a little bit more color to our salsa. So now to finish with our pineapple, there's a core, so we're going to cut around that core, just going down. We're not going to use the whole pineapple, so it'll be extra. So I took this piece, sliced it, I'm going to lay it flat, cut it again, and make them into bite-sized pieces. You don't want them too big. This is going to pair really nice with the chicken. So now I'm going to start adding our ingredients to make our salsa. I'm going to take our pineapple, which is about a half a pineapple. I'm going to take our red onion. I'm going to take our jalapeno and our garlic in there as well, our tomatoes. This gets so colorful and so pretty. Our white onion in there. And all the natural juices of the pineapple and the tomato are really gonna make this so tasty. I'm gonna give that a little stir. See how we need to add anything. That looks pretty good on that end. So we're gonna take our lime, roll it on the counter. Use some lime juice in here. Now I'm not using the juicer like before because I'm just and squeeze on the juice straight like this. We're gonna add now some salt, a little black pepper, and then our final step is our cilantro. Like I said, you can leave this out if you were not a big cilantro fan. And I'm also going to add scallions to this as well. Another onion. So a little bit of scallions there. I really like the flavor of scallions in the salsa, a little different. Just give this a rough chop here. The last thing I'm going to add, that I just remembered, is just a swirl of extra virgin olive oil. Very nice. Alright, so we are going to let this marinate in its own juices here. Let it sit in the fridge until our chicken's ready, and we're going to plate with this. This is our honey cilantro rice. I'm just fluffing it up. It's so close to being done. We'll fluff it up about 10 minutes in. And then we'll finish this off in about 5 minutes. So now we have our honey mixture. It's come to a nice boil. The bubbles are getting slower, and that means just your sugar in the honey and the maple syrup has reduced down and became a really nice sauce and a marinade. So you can test it by seeing how slow it drips off the spoons, or you can slide your finger through and you can see it holding its shape. That means it's a really nice marinade now and glaze to put on our chicken. So we're going to set that off to the side. So the chicken's ready. So now we're going to work with our asparagus. This is our last part of our meal. So we cut about 2 inches from the bottom of our fresh asparagus. We're going to put a little extra virgin olive oil in our pan. Throw them in. We're going to take the rest of our red onion, cut the skin off. We're just going to slice this actually. Not too thin, not too thick. Just a happy medium. Add a little salt, a little black pepper, fresh lemon, the zest, and we're going to pop this on the stove. So we're going to put our asparagus on a medium to high heat. We're going to give that a shake, let it sit here, cook up the onions. By the time the asparagus is done, the onions should be nice and cooked and caramelized. Now that our asparagus is getting nice and hot, I'm just going to give it a little flip here. Rotate that all around. Onions are sweating out nice. Asparagus getting some nice bright color. Let that sit for a few more minutes. Okay, so now this asparagus, this looks great now, great color. nice browning of our onions, and we are good to go with this. Our cilantro lime rice is all done now. So we have our cilantro that we minced up earlier. We have our lime. We may need another lime. That was our chicken. We'll check that in a minute. We're going to add a bunch more salt. I'm going to add our lime juice. And we're going to add our cilantro. And we're going to fluff it back up with our fork. Chicken is at 165 degrees. You always check the thickest part of the chicken and make sure if it has a bone in it that the thermometer is not touching the bone. You'll get an inaccurate reading. Now we're going to take our nice marinade that we had on our chicken that we reduced down on the stove, and we're going to brush it right on the top of our chicken breast. So now we're going to finish with our dessert, which is a warm winter berry crumble. Right here I have our frozen berries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. We're going to add in a little brown sugar. Add that right in there. We have a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg. And we have some all-purpose flour. We're going to add in some nice lemon zest. This will help freshen it up, brighten it up. And then we're going to add 1 whole lemon. I'm going to use a little strainer to catch all of our lemon seeds. We're going to give this a stir, and this will be the center of our winter berry crumble. So we're going to put our filling off to the side, and we're going to work on our crumble. So I have our flour, a pinch of salt, our brown sugar, and some cinnamon. Then we're going to add our cold butter. I'm going to slice this. I'm going to cut the butter into cubes. Try to make the butter all roughly one size, so when we're mixing it up, it'll be done at the same time. And there's no larger chunks, it's smaller chunks. Now we're just going to take our hands in here, and we're going to blend our butter in with our flour, brown sugar, and cinnamon and salt mixture. And we're just gonna mix this up and rub the butter in between our hands until it resembles wet sand. It would be a good indication when it's done. So we're gonna really mix it up here. We're gonna pinch it between our fingers, the butter. I'm gonna roll it in the palms of our hands here, the heel of our hands. And we're just gonna work that butter in. Now this came together really nice and is resembling wet sand. And we're gonna now add this to the top of our mixture, and we're gonna put it together. So we're gonna now take our filling and put it into our ramekins. I have 2 ramekins here, enough to feed about two people per ramekin. So I'm gonna give it one little stir here, the filling. I'm gonna get a spoon here, and I'm gonna spoon half of our berry mixture into our ramekin here. And I have my oven preheated at 350, ready for our winter berry crumble to go in. Now we're going to take our crumble and we're going to put it right on top. We're not going to press it down. We want it to be nice and light. So we're going to just place it on, and wherever it lands, it's going to stay. And we're going to crumble that right on top there. And now we're going to pop this in the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes. Okay. Now we're taking out our warm winterberry crumble. It's been in the oven for 20 minutes at 350. We're gonna finish this off with a healthy scoop of vanilla ice cream. And you can, another way to tell that it's all done is that the berries were nice and bubbly. And the juices were bubbling. And I'm going to give it a little dust of some powdered sugar. And here is our warm winterberry crumble. Thank you for watching this episode, and we hope to see you soon. Please like our page, give us a share, and let us know what you would like to see next. Thanks. Bye-bye.